Hey guys, if you've been following my shorts, you've probably already seen some of the monsters I've added already. But stick around though, I got 2 more fellas I haven't shown off yet. If you're new here though, Witch Tuition is my hobby game I'm working on. You play as a Scion Lucina, gathering materials and making potions to sell or use when foraging. I like fighting against these enemies. Okay, first and most crucial enemy is the Deathcap Shroom. The forest is blighted and the graveyard is abandoned. These shrooms are responsible for rising the dead as they take on its hosts. From far away, they'll send deadly seeking spores, but close up, it'll shoot a barrage of shots. Next up, are the roly-poly. Kinda obvious what they're about, these man-sized bugs, incredibly hostile, and they'll roll after you. Or crash into whatever's in the way, really. They got wisps, floating specters, I'll try to lob chilling sparks at you. And related to the Deathcap Shrooms, the Deathcap Skeletons are leftover remains piloted by the fungi. They're persistent once they lock onto you. So to help, I added other methods to avoid damage. The Psychic Barrier with a right mouse click is quick to call upon. When you take damage, it'll instead be converted to your mana. But you will need mana to keep it up, or else you'll be left vulnerable. You can also dodge instead with the spacebar. I'm kind of impartial between having it like the player dodge based on movement or the direction of your mouse, but for now, dodges are based on mouse. If you played similar games though, where the dodge can be like that, let me know your preference though. Now for the extra 2 enemies, they are the Undead Mage and the Man-Bat. Unlike the Deathcap that pilots its corpses, these mages are properly raised dead, and are capable of performing necromancy magic themselves. They'll launch explosive skulls at you. Once they get to half health, however, they'll start to erect a barrier, so don't underestimate them. The Man-Bat, alternatively, is incredibly elusive and will avoid projectile attacks before striking itself. Try to target it while it misses or opt to more AoE based approaches. Now with these 6, the next big question is how exactly am I going to spawn them all properly? Just dropping however many would be just too chaotic. It makes more sense if enemies like this could come in similar packs if it's more than one. So here's what I decided. Okay, first I'm going to categorize each enemy between 1 to 6 on its complexity. How hard the enemy is to handle, its type of nature, and how annoying it would be if there's more than one. That's how I would factor it. Depending on its given number, it'll subtract that from the enemy's limit value. Then on 1/3 of a chance, it'll decide if it can afford another duplicate, or grab a random off a 1d6 roll. So for example, the Deathcap are fungi, so it makes sense they're more likely in a pack, as well as not doing too much damage or combat. It'll be my pick for number 1. Middle range is the Skeleton. I feel like it would make sense for them to be in a pack, but they're pretty fast and it could be overwhelming, so that kind of evens them out. For 6 though, is definitely the Undead Mage. Having a bunch of these spamming AoE shots, even if it's a small radius, is too chaotic. I also wanted to change up the layout to something along the lines of this. Once you reach outside the graveyard, you'll be faced with a mini-boss blocking the way. Then you'll experience a new maps of the forest. The forest maps will be slightly larger and can house potential traps or trapped rooms with these gate entrances. I think for like small traps I can make any leftover spaces that aren't occupied by structures, but for the bosses and mini-bosses they'll have to be in the next video. Right now there's only 2 rooms with the gates so I can test them out. I will have to add a new trap status to have it be more flexible with generations. But thank you guys for sticking this far for the progress, or at least catching this video. Next vid I'll try to get bosses and mini-bosses up. I also keep putting it off because it's a whole thing, but the website does need an upgrade so badly. I want to ask though, should I make a vid immediately after every update or just stick to just 3 months of update spacing? I know it sounds dumb because obviously like the best option would be weekly updates or something, but yeah. Comment what you think of the progress so far. Any improvements you think could help, or just following for any updates. I could also look into what it would take to do a mailing list. I don't know if that's too annoying, but if it helps, it helps. I see you.